Want your business to boom? Make it like George Costanza and do the opposite of normal. So if you don't know, ever heard of Seinfeld? There was a character, George Costanza, and in one episode, he decides he's going to do the opposite of everything because his whole life has been a disaster. So he's like, you know what I need to do? I need to just do the opposite of whatever would think. If I think it should be one way, I need to zig instead of zag and go that way. So this goes on to say the trick is to not just do the opposite, but to be bold and take some smart, calculated risks in order to create some new additional profit centers. I think anybody who has now lived through the pandemic with their business has absolutely had to do so, or they've had to have some severe, some very big cash reserves for a rainy day that is now turning into a rainy year, that's turning into a rainy 2 years, and potentially another 1 to 2 years of uncertainty going forward. I think it's just a really good reminder that we can't predict what the future is going to hold. And I think that to me, the pandemic has been an opportunity to be mindful and grateful for what we have and the opportunities that we have, and the people around us and what we can do to better ourselves and those opportunities around us, and be super, as one says. So let's see. In this case, there was an example that I wanted to pull up. For example, a spa company in New York called Higher Dose. The secret sauce of this company was that the spas bathed you in infrared light, creating a detoxifying experience unlike any other. Cool, right? Yes, unless a pandemic comes along and forces you to close all your locations almost overnight. Now what? The conventional wisdom would be to close down, take your lumps, wait it out, and hope for the best. But the problem with conventional wisdom is that it is, well, conventional. Instead, owner-entrepreneur Katie Capps decided to do the opposite. She leaned into e-commerce, an area Higher Dose had barely touched previously, and started selling infrared blankets. At a time when everyone was home and needing comforting, this new product became a big hit. As a result, these days, while the spas are open once again, Higher Dose is rocking it at just as much with an additional profit center, e-commerce. Doing the opposite can work. It worked for Higher Dose, and it can work for you. It's time to boom your business, don't you think? Yeah, we talk about this on this channel all the time. You need to find other opportunities that make sense, that tie in with your current target audience, that they're already buying this. They might want to buy this as well. Do some questioning. Find out what your customers want. What's the pain points that they have? They're already trusting you, right? Trust is the hardest thing to gain. So going forward, think about these kinds of things where it's like, what can I do to take that next step with that customer, right? What is the next problem? Now, some people might come off and think that comes from like a place of weakness or that a place of, uncertainty. But the reality is your customers that trust you probably like you because they trust you and they want to see you succeed. So they want you to take that next step, and they want you to figure out, what else can I do to provide for my customers. So that doesn't necessarily mean being a one all, the next Walmart, but it does, or next, Amazon. But what it does mean is that they trust you in a certain area of their life or in their business, and you can look for what the next problem that they have is. Like, hey, we have the solution. And I think, stepping into e-commerce, if you aren't familiar with e-commerce, it can be very daunting. I probably should do a course here at some point, talking about what we can, how you can take those steps from transitioning your business into e-commerce. What's some of the easiest ways? What's some of the cheapest ways, or inexpensive ways, I should say, to do so? And if I should do a video like that, make sure you drop a like down below in this video, and I'll look at doing that. But yeah, you need to always be looking at 1, 2, 3 steps ahead and say, okay, I don't know anything about e-commerce, but I can start to learn now. And that'll change into another profit center going forward.